Hi, thanks for coming back to my channel. Hopefully you are enjoying the content. If you are, please like and subscribe. And if this is your first time, welcome. Again, please like this video and subscribe. I am going to be doing a lot more and getting a lot busier with video as we come closer to the season. Today, I'm going to be talking about the attacking midfield options that we have been linked with and just kind of breaking them down very, very quickly and then giving my opinion on who I would like to see. So let's get into it. So in the recent weeks, probably most of the summer, we've been linked with three players mainly to fill our attacking midfield void. Ødegaard, Maddison and Aouar. Aouar is a player who can play centre midfield and attacking midfield. He's mostly deployed in centre midfield and is kind of one of the attacking options in a midfield three, which we are not using at the moment. At the moment, we play a 4-2-3-1. He can also play as a 10, which is why he's someone that's been looked at because of his versatility. Ødegaard and Maddison are both 10 players, that is attacking midfielders, creative players, but they are very different. There's lots of similarities, but there's lots of differences as well. So I'm going to go breaking them down, kind of comparing, contrasting before I give my my opinion on which one I feel we should be looking to sign. So first of all, Ødegaard is pretty much a seasoned vet at this ripe age of 22. It's over 230 appearances for various clubs all over Europe. He is a good passer of the ball, and he's a good progression player. He is a player who picks the ball up, who likes to run and attack with the ball at his feet. Not so much a dribbler in terms of that 1v1 beat a player, but he likes to pick up the ball. He likes to run with the ball. He likes to drive things forward. And I think Arsenal definitely needing, another person in that vein. Smith Rowe does that very well, picks the ball up and drives into the final third. And I think Ødegaard is also a player that does that very well. As I said, only 22, but in his 236 appearances, he's assisting at 0.18 sort of assists per game, and he is 0.14 goals per game. So he's not. You'll see the statistics actually really, really similar. James Maddison, again, a 10 player attacking midfield player. He's not one that kind of carries as much as the other two. And he's not one that kind of passes as much as the other two. But what he does do is create a lot more goal scoring opportunities. He also shoots a lot more. So he, as a 10, is probably what I would consider as more of a goal threat 10. He can contribute, and his assists are 0.22 assists per game. And that's based on 230 games. So another veteran of 200 plus games at the age of 24. But that's compared to Ødegaard's 0.18. So it's 0.22 to 0.18, which is not really that much of a difference. And then in terms of goals, Maddison is 0.2 compared to 0.14 of Ødegaard. So again, he carries more of a goal threat, but not that much more. Carries an assist threat, but not that much more. He's a little bit more direct in terms of his creating opportunities, but isn't as effective in the build-up. He doesn't do a lot more of he doesn't do more of the sort of progressive carries, the progressive passing, the passes into the final third. So we'll move on to Aouar very quickly. Aouar is 23. Again, almost 200 games, 182 games played so far in his career. He's got a goal return of 0.18. which is less than Maddison, but more than Ødegaard. And he has an assist rate of 0.2, which again is more than Ødegaard, but less than Maddison. So he is kind of the middle balance between Ødegaard and Maddison. Now, each of these players are available for reports show that that Ødegaard is available for 35 million, Aouar is available for 25 million, and Maddison in and around the region of 65 to 70 million. And as you've seen, the statistics are very similar. So there isn't one of them who's a huge goal threat in comparison to the other. There isn't one who's a huge assister in terms of the other. So now we want to look a little bit more about how they contribute to the team in terms of build up and etc. and that kind of thing. Of the three, Ødegaard's the better passer of the ball. He's got a higher pass completion rate. Maddison's is actually the worst, 75% pass completion rate compared to 85% of Ødegaard, and Aouar is 83%. So, you know, those two, Ødegaard and Aouar, obviously the better passers of the ball. Aouar is better at getting the ball into the final third. He does that 5.22 times a game, followed by Ødegaard, which is 4.74 times a game, and then Maddison's 4.4. So again, all very similar in terms of their entries into the final third. The difference really between the players shows in their progressive carries and their sort of progressive passing. So this is not necessarily passes into the final third, but passes forward. In these statistics, Ødegaard and Aouar set themselves kind of pull away from Maddison, whose statistics aren't as great as the other two. But again, you're talking about sort of 8.6 progressive carries to 6.19. So it's not a huge difference. In terms of kind of shot creation, Maddison's actually the best of the three. And in terms of taking shots, Aouar's actually the best of the three, but very, very almost neck and neck with Maddison. Ødegaard is way down on that. So that's, you know, his weakness in comparison to the other two. In terms of progressive carries into the final third, so that's taking the ball into the final third. Again, not necessarily dribbling 1v1, just moving with the ball into the final third. Ødegaard does this a lot more, 2.83 times per game compared to Maddison is 2.01 times a game, and Aouar 2.56 times a game. Now, this may well be because the other two, Maddison and Aouar, actually shoot more when they get around the final third, whereas Ødegaard doesn't shoot as much. So, you know, the question really becomes, what do we want this 10 to do? Do we want this 10 to be a goal-scoring midfielder? And, you know, people will say, well, you know, we lost 15 goals on average last season. And if we can make up that 15 goals, then that's great for us. You know, teams that qualify for the top four tend to score 70-ish goals. I actually don't think it's that important. I think we had a lot of forwards who kind of came good towards the end of the season, but for the first few months, you know, we're really struggling. And I feel like we won't have those struggles this season, especially if we can get somebody who can contribute a bit more to the build-up. So my suggestion would be looking at Ødegaard, somebody who gets involved in the process, in the build-up, who's able to carry the ball, drive forward, who's able to complete more passes, especially passes into the kind of final third, who's able to play forward in the midfield areas as well. So not just playing to the final third, but also drop a little bit deeper to pick up and play forward. So that means he links well with the forwards. Doesn't shoot as much. And, you know, has a similar assist rate to the other two. In terms of his sort of bringing the ball into the final third, does a very good job of doing that. So he would be my choice. At 35 million, you know, Maddison, in terms of the statistics, hasn't really set himself, you know, apart to be worth double. You know, I mean, Let's just put it that way. I think Maddison is a player who will pop up edge of the box, will shoot, will score more. I don't know that he will necessarily combine as much because although he's got more assists, it's very similar. And his kind of final third entries are lower. He does create more goal scoring sort of opportunities, but I wonder kind of how many of those are his in comparison to creating for other people, which again is not a big problem because, you know, he'd be chipping in with goals. But for twice the price of somebody who's very similar, but who actually adds a little bit more to the build up, which, you know, Arteta seems to favour, I don't think is all that worth it, to be honest. And then Aouar, for 25 million, can't go wrong. If anything, if you're looking at buying Maddison, you might as well buy Ødegaard and Aouar. You know, that gives you the versatility between playing the 10 and playing as a central midfielder in a 4-3-3. So, you know, pass completion rate's really good. Final third entry is very good. Good assists and, you know, very similar goal assists and goal return to the other two, but slightly more than Ødegaard. And then more shots. He's good with the progressive carries into the final third. And again, progressive passes from midfield, much better. Progressive carries, much better than James Maddison. So I think you can kind of see where I'm going with this. You know, if I was going to do anything, if I had that 70 million to spend, I would probably go Ødegaard and Aouar, give me some flexibility in my system, whether I play 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 for a very similar return. And, you know, the price gets me the two of them. So that's where I would go. If you don't agree, it's fine. Leave a comment. You know, let's engage, let's discuss. You can also find me on my social media. That's sensible_gunner on Twitter and on Instagram. And if you've enjoyed this video, like it, please. Subscribe because there's more coming, and share. Thanks for your time. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. And as always, come on, you Gunners.